So nobody else gonna talk about this. Just me. Okay. All right. Hey, niggas. What's going on, everybody? It's the Granddad Woolly, and you are here again for another edition of Woolly Reviews Hip Hop Data. Today we got an album review today, and we're going to be talking about the brand new album from one of the most legendary MCs of all time. He's back. He dropped some new shit. He been doing music since I was born. Like, literally, the year I was fucking born, this nigga was making music, and almost 30 years later, he's still dropping fire. So we're going to talk about the new album from Masta Ace entitled The Falling Season. Now, for those who aren't familiar with Masta Ace, you better get your hip-hop knowledge up, because he is Masta Ace. How do you not? What the fuck? What's wrong with people today? Masta Ace is one of the most legendary hip-hop MCs from Brooklyn, New York. He is one of the original members of the honorary Juice Crew collective with other people like Malamar, Biz Markie, Roxanne Shante, Big Daddy Kane, just to name a few. There's a whole bunch of motherfuckers in that group, all legends in their own right. And I gotta say that out of that crew, Masta Ace probably has the best longevity when it comes to releasing music and making music out of the whole crew. He's still dropping music to this day, like I said, and he's got a lot of classic and very great albums under his belt. He's got Slaughterhouse, Sitting on Chrome, Disposable Arts, one of my favorites, A Long Hot Summer. He's also part of the group emcee with Wordsworth, Strickland. You know, I did that album review a little while back, and he's done a good job keeping his name afloat and his respect intact when it comes to this music game. So now, let's talk about this new album that he just dropped and see if Masta Ace has dropped us another hot one, or if it's just not that good, Ace. I mean, it's possible. You Masta Ace. But I'm saying anything can be happening. Fuck it, let's just talk about the shit. Now, when it comes to the production on this album, Masta Ace usually goes for the general type of sound. He has that real throwback, soulful hip-hop sound. And on this album, he has the entire thing produced by Kick Beats, who also did some work on the emcee album. That's the first time I got, my little taste of Kick Beats, and I liked it. And then when I heard he was doing the whole album, I was like, hell yeah, Kick Beats, look at you on the come up, bro. Just look at you, doing big things, Kick Beats. So when I heard he was doing the whole album, I was intrigued, but also very excited because I listened to Kick Beats stuff. He's got some real dope beats and dope sound. And the cool thing about it is he rarely samples his stuff, but it sounds like that sample-based hip-hop. So he actually has a win-win. He ain't got to worry about getting sued, but he still brings that soulful boom-bap style that, would sound like some sampled shit. And Masta Ace sounded just at home on these beats. And Kick Beats killed it. We gonna hear a lot more from Kick Beats, I'm pretty sure, after this album. And Kick Beats, if you got some, you can give me a beat or two. I do rap, and I'm pretty good. I throw it out there to every producer in the review if I think they dope. So don't feel like I'm trying to pressure you or nothing, but I'm saying you got fire, I got fire. So two fires makes a really big fire. This is just plain mathematics and science on that one. But Kick Beats is dope. He did a really awesome job on this album, and I'm looking forward to hearing more work from him. So now let's talk about Masta Ace and see what he has done on these Kick Beats, both on the lyrical side and just the general album presentation side. So let's see what Ace done. Let's see what you brought, bruh. Now, for those who have never listened to a Masta Ace project, most of his projects are usually concept albums. Pretty much all his albums are fucking concept albums, but he's probably one of the best artists to ever execute the concept album. Me, myself personally, have fashioned my way of doing concept albums off Masta Ace because he does it so fucking well. And what he does in this album is he centers on his high school years from 9th grade all the way to graduation, and he pretty much tells everything that goes on in his life, from him having to go all the way from Brooklyn to this other school on the other side of Brooklyn, which is like the nice area, not the hood area, the nice ass area, but he had to take two buses to get there every day, and the shit was a far ass drive, and he had to do it because you don't want to go to the bad school, you got to go to the good school so you can get good grades and all that shit, whatever. He also talks about a lot of other things like being the battle rapper at a school and being challenged from other battle rappers at school and just crazy beef happening. He also talks about his grandmother and what it was like living with his grandmother at that time and the experiences and what he learned from her. His favorite radio show that came on like 2 in the morning, he would have to, stay up late so he can be able to hear the show or record the show, and a whole bunch of other stuff that you pretty much just see what was going on in Ace's life at that time. And I think it's a really dope concept album. I really think he executed it really well, and I think he tells a lot of stories, and the way that the album flows, usually with Masta Ace albums, it does a song skit format, and that's what this is. But those skits are so valuable because they really guide the story along that you have to hear them, and as you listen into it in the full context of the album, it makes sense to hear them with the skits. mean, you can listen to a song by itself, but it sounds so much better and you understand it so much more by listening to the album front to back. And that's what this, you can listen to this album front to back. You actually have to. It sounds better listening to it from track 1 all the way to track 24. It sounds like a lot. It sounds like a lot, but trust me, when you're listening to this album in a whole, it really doesn't feel that way because you are listening to this story and it just builds and it's told so well. He's also got a lot of dope features on this album. They all bring something to this album that really accentuate and help the story, and they all feel in place. It doesn't feel like somebody shouldn't have been on the album or they were just there to be there. Everybody had a specific role or a specific story to tell that guided along the general full scope of what this album is supposed to be. So hold on, I got who up on here. He got Your Old Droog on here. He's got Pav Bundy, the Hypnotic Brass Ensemble. Okay, he got Chuck D on here. He got AG on here. He got Frankie Beverly on here and LT. Nikki Bourbon's on here. Queen Heroine's on here. Shit, that's a lot of motherfuckers on this album, but you don't even tell. I'm gonna keep going. He got Wordsworth on here. All right, Cormega, Beige, Strickland. Torres on here, Dion, and the world famous Supreme Team's on here, and Dinez Pregent, I'm fuck that up, sorry, and then Pearl Gates. So yeah, it's a lot of mofos on this album, but this album is hefty, but at the same time, most of them are either singing on the hook or they give you one verse. So each verse and each hook that these features do actually make the album way more better. And this album in general is fucking fantastic. It's another great Masta Ace concept album. And I think that you can really get a clear scope of what Ace was going through and what Ace did during those years. And he's actually got a kid narrating as him, playing him. Actually, I think he's got a few people playing the younger versions of them. I think it's like the sons of his friends playing them at that time. And another cool thing about this album is that it's set actually in the past. It's set in 1980, but the way that the album plays and when you hear it, they're talking like it's 1980 right now. So it's present tense of the past, if that makes any sense. But that's what's happening, but it's dope because you kind of get a feel of what was going on during that time frame as if you were living there. So it's like some Back to the Future type shit that Ace done pulled off, but it worked, it's cool. I mean, I like it, nigga. Now, you know I gotta give you my top 5 tracks, and this was a hard choice because I liked every song on this album, and like I said, you have to listen to the full thing and full scope to really appreciate and understand the whole concept of it. But I was able to cherry pick out 5 tracks that I really, really liked, and that is, hold on, I thought I was ready, but I'm never ready. Here we go. Young, Black, Intelligent, and then it's Mr. Bus Driver, and then it's High School Shit, and then it's Nana, yeah, and then Story of Me. Okay, so let me get back to okay, Young, Black, Intelligent. That has got to be my favorite song on this album, and I heard this is like the first song that Ace ever recorded for this album. This was the song that kind of set the album off, but it's pretty much talking about Ace being a young, black, intelligent kid from where he's from, and he's in Brownsville, Brooklyn, where not a lot of fucking young, black, intelligent people there. It's a lot of bad shit that goes on. People really don't, you know, glorify intelligence and being smart and wanting to get good grades, and that's what Ace was. So he had to deal with being that person in that environment and having a sort of a clearer mind and realizing that there's a better goal in sight. You don't have to live in your environment or be a product of your environment. There's better shit out there. You just gotta be, you know, the person that you know you can be intelligent, make good grades, and just make the right moves, and you'll do it. So that's what that song is about. It's a real dope song. The beat on here is really dope. It's got that classic boom bap feel, but it's got a nice trumpet on there, and it's also got a lot of other cool instrumentation. Kick Beats really put his foot in this motherfucker. And then Ace just delivers some really, really good lyrics, and he did one that really just stuck out to me. I had to write the shit down to make sure I said it right, but it's at the beginning of his second verse. He says, "Penny for your thoughts, a nickel for your dreams, a dime for your goals, and a quarter in your jeans, trying to make $1 out of 41 cents. Nigga, that's so fucking dope. Listen to what I just said. You add it together. Add the dime, quarter, nickel, penny up, 41 cents, and make it. Nigga, Masta Ace got it still. After all this, you still got that shit. But like I said, this is one of my favorite tracks, and it features Pav Bundy, who brings a really dope hook. And then it's also got Chuck D at the tail end of this track, doing a little bit of an inspirational, I guess, a poem or like a speech if you want. But it kind of just rounds out the whole young, black, intelligent thing. So he really just kind of closes it out on a high note. And this is a really dope track, and this is the standout of the album for me early on, because it comes on early in the album. But I gotta say, like, even throughout the album, this is still one that I go back to because it's the shit to me. So you gotta definitely check that one out. The next song is Mr. Bus Driver, and this features Nikki Bourbon, and her hook on here is so goddamn infectious. I didn't know who Nikki Bourbon was, but I'm telling you right now, I've been sleeping on Nikki Bourbon. She is killing it on this hook. And I'm like, the way that she just sings and she glides over this hook. Woo! Nikki Bourbon, I gotta say. And then Masta Ace brings in some really solid, really dope verses. He talks about being on the bus and just what he sees as he's driving from his school all the way home or vice versa. Pretty much just he sees different events that goes on and he just tells how he feels about seeing things. Like he tells about how he feels seeing a mom who's like whooping her kids in the street and how he feels about that, or how he feels about just driving around not so good neighborhoods and, you know, his outlook and from where he's, you know, at that point of his life. And, you know, he just really just gives his view and perspective on just what happens during this time and the things that he sees driving on this bus that he's got to be on every fucking day, you know, that he has to see all these things. The next track is High School Shit, and this is the battle track of the album. It features Torre, and Torre is another kid from another school who goes and challenges Masta Ace to a battle, and it's school versus school, and they're going back and forth talking about how whack each other's schools are. And I gotta say, Masta Ace, I know this is your album, but Torre won. Nigga, I had to listen to it a lot. I had to, but Torre got you. I'm just be real. I gotta be honest with you, dude. I mean the lines I got the lines Torre said, and I don't think you said anything that was as severe as what he said. I mean, the dude said your lunch lady got a mustache and a goatee. I mean, that's gross. I don't want chin hair in my food. That's bad. You don't need that. And then he said, your starting five is designed to ride benches. Only championships are in the Special Olympics. He is murking y'all, right? I'm sorry. You still my dude, Ace. And then Torre also said, the editor of your school paper can't even read. How? But look, it's a dope track, and it really does have the feel of a battle rap in high school. You got the sounds of people in the background just reacting to what each other is saying, and it's just real dope. I mean, I've been in a high school battle with 20 in my time, and shit, it be like that. It sounds just like that. It's just as savage as it seems. Next track that I like is Nana, and this is the track that pretty much focuses on Masta Ace talking about his grandma and the time that he was living with his grandmother and the things that he learned from her and the things that she would do for him and his friends and, you know, everything that went along with it. And he just really, it's pretty much, I guess, just that dedication track to his grandmother. It's a really dope track, really smooth track. The beat on here is really low key, and it really just opens up that option for Masta Ace to really be able to just tell the story of just how he feels and how much he appreciates his grandmother and what she did for him during that time, because I think he lived with her during that time he was in high school, or around the ending time of when he was in high school. So it's just a really dope track. It just has a real good feel to it. The hook on here, done by Dion, I believe is his name, is really awesome, especially the way it ends. I'm not going to even try to sing it because I'm going to butcher it, and he did so well. So just listen to it, and you know what I'm talking about when you hear it. It's fucking dope. But this is another great track, and it's just another standout for me, so you got to check that one out. And the last track is Story of Me, and this is actually the last track on the album and the longest track on the album. It's about 7 minutes long, but it doesn't really feel that way because the beat goes through a lot of changes, and it kind of just tells a story within itself. This track is actually the track after Ace's graduation, and pretty much tells what he does after graduation. He decides to go to Rhode Island University, I think. He goes there, he gets his bachelor's degree, and then you realize that that ain't shit because he couldn't find a fucking job afterward. So he just decides, fuck it, I'm gonna fucking rap, and I'm gonna be Masta Ace, and that's gonna be it. And that's pretty much what the song is about. I kind of nutshelled the whole thing, but he also tells his, you know, his experiences and how he thought and how he felt. The beat on here, like I said, is great. It builds up, and it just tells the great story for Ace to really just tell the story of him. And I think it's the perfect way to close out this album because, you know, after graduation, you kind of have that, well, what did you do now? He kind of gave us that, and it just perfectly centered out the album, and it does not feel like 7 minutes when you hear the track. So at first when I saw it, I was like, God damn, that's a long track, Ace. But then when I heard it, I was like, okay, it doesn't seem as long because it's really fucking good, and you telling the story perfectly, and it's what we needed to actually really close out this album. But all in all, I gotta say that the Falling Season overall is a very, very, very well put together concept album. Another great one by Masta Ace. Masta Ace never ceases to amaze me when he does these concept albums, and he just knows how to just put them together. He follows the same formula, but the fact that he can just interchange it with different stories of his life keeps it fresh and you're wondering what the next story of Ace's life or Ace's mind is gonna create, and it's just something really dope to just see him do over the years. So my final verdict, I'm not saying that Masta Ace The Fallen Season is a super dope, very well put together concept album that showcases Ace's life in those 4 years that he was in high school and everything that he went through. It's a lot of cool stories that you hear about Ace. You kind of figure out a lot more about Ace and pretty much how he became who he became. A lot of dope beats on here done by Kick Beats. He really shines on this album. And Ace brings some top quality lyricism that we know him for. And it's just a great album overall. There was no track on here that I disliked. I liked the whole album. And I really liked it in the context of listening to it from front to back rather than just picking songs. It still is enjoyable, but not as enjoyable if you hear the whole album. So all I gotta say is that for me, Masta Ace The Fallen Season is 100% Granddad approved. Definitely go check it out. Go cop this album. Support Masta Ace. He is a legend in the game, and he is still making dope hip hop to this day. And I don't think he's gonna stop anytime soon. I don't want him to, god damn it. So shit. Keep it up, Ace. You got another hot one in the tank. And hey, I'm gonna keep bumping this one for a good while. A good while. But I got nothing more to say. Masta Ace, The Fallen Season, is Granddad approved. So go check out the shit right now. Flip it. Alright y'all, that's going to do it for today's video. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and drop a comment. Tell me what you think of Masta Ace The Fallen Season if you've heard it. If you haven't heard it, you are seriously fucking up. Go check out this album because it's 100% pure, unadulterated, unfiltered, grade A hip-hop. And Kick Beats kills it on here. The beats are crazy. Masta Ace kills it on here. Lyrics are dope. And it's just, the features are dope. Everything on this album is dope. Shit. Why would you not want to hear this shit? The only thing that this album is missing is this me. I mean, I get it though. Maybe next one. Maybe. Previous video was on the side as well as my new single. Check those out and show them some love. And as always, Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud, Instagram. Links in the description below. And subscribe. Button on the screen. Button below. Woolly Reviews. Twice a week. Gaming channel. Check that out. And I got nothing more to say. So until next time I take my leave. Granddaughter. Masta Ace The Fallen Season. This album is fucking fantastic. Like, why does nobody... It's here, it's out. Check it out. Why are you ignoring this shit? What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Really? I'm out of here.